All right, we have some good news. So the Bank of America has just released their earnings report, and they've beaten on earnings per share and revenue, which might come of a surprise to most people given the circumstances around the banking industry in the past month. Um, but we've had JP Morgan last week report their earnings, and that was a massive increase. And now we've had the Bank of America follow suit. We'll be looking into those earnings reports, and we'll give a quick assessment as to whether this will be a good dividend company to buy in the near future. So what we have here is the first quarter of 2023 highlights from what JP Morgan has produced themselves. As you can see there, the earnings per share is 0.94 cents. It's an increase by 18% year over year, which is really good. And a lot of people weren't expecting for Bank of America to increase by this much. And then over to the right, the revenue that they've produced is 26.3 billion again, which is beaten expectations and 13% year over year. Now, as you can see there, they've had 130,000 new consumer checking accounts, which goes to show that the company itself is still growing, very rapidly. Now, moving over to the income statement, right? This is the most up-to-date income statement through macro trends. I've cross-referenced this with the Bank of America's reports themselves, and it's extremely accurate. So, with the revenue here, they've made just over $40 billion in revenue, but with the cost of goods sold being $14 billion, they made a gross profit of $26.258 billion. And as you can see with the last quarter there, it's a good increase there. And then if you move back all the way to quarter one of 2022, right, it's an increase of just over, just a little bit under $3 billion, right, which is a really good increase. All right, now we'll just head over to the balance sheet just to check out the cash on hand here. So the most recent one, this hasn't been updated just yet, but in the last quarter that has been updated, they've got over $801 billion worth of cash. And then as you notice, like it's consistently sort of increasing over time. We've had a little bit of a dip in 2000 or the start of 2022, but the most recent one being $801 billion in cash. They've increased it from the last quarter. So far, I've only really seen good things from the Bank of America, and I just don't think people should be listening to all this bad news of what happened with the banking sort of crisis, what people think that's happening, because if you read all the headlines in the news, it's all very bad news, and then people are following that. And what it's produced is, a lot of people panic selling out of the banking stocks. But from what I can see with the financials of the company, they've actually been performing quite well. So here's Bank of America on my stake account, and just within the last week, you can see they're only slightly up over the week. Moving into the month, we're up by 3.27%. In the 3 months, they're still down just under 13%. Moving into the year and into the year, they're still down by 20%, but over the 3 year period, they're still up by 34%. But as you can see there, they're still trading down from their all time high of January of 2022. So just by looking at the current state of the stock price, just by looking at the chart, I don't think the financials of the company really is reflecting the stock price at the moment. I think this is just a case of people listening to headlines in the news, and they're just reacting as out of emotion. They're not really doing any analysis themselves. But just to have a deep dive on the current shares that I have in with Bank of America. So you've currently got 283 shares at an average price of $26. So the total equity is just over $8,000. And I'm profited just under $1,000, but I'm more here for the dividends, not necessarily the growth. As you can see there, it's got a 2.94% dividend yield. And moving over to trackyourdividends.com, if we were to look at the Bank of America slot just there, moving all the way to the right hand side, you can see that every year this company is paying me $249 worth of dividends, and they pay quarterly. So if you work that out, it roughly becomes $60 every single quarter. And I've recently done a little bit more buying of Bank of America as well. So purely using that fear in the market to drive down the stock price, I'm taking advantage of that, and I'm starting to buy some more shares. so I can get slowly average down and get a lower price there. But I'll give you a look at the buys that I've done so far. So as you can see there on the 24th of March 2023, I saw the stock price go down fairly heavily. So I made a $2,000 purchase into the company, and then that drive down my average price quite a bit. And if we were to move to Seeking Alpha to check the dividend growth within the company, I think you'll be quite surprised. So going into the dividend history, you see that the dividend consecutive growth for the last 9 years, that they've increased that dividend. But overall, they've been paying a dividend consecutively for 23 years, which is pretty damn good. So looking over the dividend growth here and scrolling down, so as you can see from 2014, they've consistently increased that dividend. So when you put it all together, you've got some really good earnings per share and revenue numbers right there. When you look at the income statement and the balance sheet, it's continuing to grow. You've got some really good recorded dividend growth here. And I don't necessarily think that the stock price reflects the current performance of the company. All right, so my thoughts, my analysis is it's a very good company. It's currently trading low. I only see it increasing in the future, and I'm going to continue to buy more shares to increase my annual dividend income. And if it trades down, I'll just be getting those shares at a discount. So that concludes the video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, thumbs up. It really helps out the channel, and I'll catch you next time.